I'm here with Ben Collister. So Ben is the director of Next Gen Co-Living. Welcome, Ben.
Hi, Mick. Thank you. Good to be here.
And Ben is tuning in, by the way, from Florence, everyone. So lucky you.
Yeah, it's not all right for some, isn't it?
Yeah. So Ben, just tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, great. So Next Gen Co-Living, we're a housing provider. We're looking to provide top quality, sustainable co-living accommodation. And one of our key objectives is to really foster a community in and around our properties. So not just the traditional sort of, you meet the landlord, rent it, and then never hear from them again unless you've got a maintenance issue. We really want to be hands-on throughout the whole thing and have a tenant-led experience.
Good. So building a community within a home.
Yes, within and around as well within the local community. We look to partner with local businesses, so our tenants can get discounts there. It doesn't cost us or them anything. Just brings business to them and gives extra benefits to our tenants for the same price. So,
yeah. So who typically are the types of clients that you're dealing with?
So young professionals, anything from around 20 to 35. It can be any profession really. Generally, there's quite a lot of nurses around Preston. There's big hospital over there. But you get a lot of everything. It can literally be anything at all.
Mm-hmm. And I think you also deal with investors as well.
Yes, we do. Yep. So both sort of more commercial and private investors. A bit of a combination of both to make deals work. Yeah, we've got both on board at the moment on our current project.
And where's your focus right now?
In terms of location, or
where's your focus in terms of the business and what you're looking to
right, okay.
Develop?
Right now, we're just trying to focus on making sure we've got the model perfectly before we start to ramp up and try to grow exponentially. We want to make sure everything's sort of airtight with it, both financially and in terms of operations side, to make sure we've got the experience right for the tenants, make sure we're not missing anything, and then from there we're looking to, as I just said, sort of start ramping things up over the next year and get a few projects at a time rather than just single.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what would you say differentiates you from anyone else that's in that area, I think, in that industry?
A couple of things. One being the quality of the finish we go for. We make sure we've got interior designers to sort of make sure the property's got a nice finish. All rooms are en suite, spacious, and a very modern finish. That's probably the main thing, because there's a lot of terrible housing stock on the market, especially for young professionals. So that's something we wanted to be able to make a difference on. And I think the second thing is the thing I just mentioned about the community. We're looking to foster that community in and around the property. So one of our objectives, once we've got sort of a few more houses on the go, is to bring those houses together. We'll pay for, I don't know, a bowling night, a pizza night, so they can all meet each other, and then they've got a wider community within the house. And especially that was, well, I'm sure I'll come on to it, but something that COVID sort of influenced us into doing as well.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So so obviously we started the business in COVID. We began in March 2021. So obviously loneliness and mental health issues were skyrocketing at the time. Everyone stuck by themselves during lockdowns. So we wanted to make a difference on that, and that's sort of why we headed towards co-living rather than just normal apartments, because we thought if they've got a community within their house, they've got a wider support circle, and they're not feeling alone if they get to that place. So that was, again, something that was really important for us to try and make a difference there, which is why we try to have that hands-on approach and make sure that we're there when they need it.
Brilliant. I like the idea.
Thank you.
How many businesses like you are doing this sort of thing? It sounds
I think we're starting to see, they're starting to get a few more. It's quite big in the US and a couple of other places. I think maybe in Scandinavia there's a fair bit of it, but in the UK there's not much. There was a big one in London, the Collective they were called, but they did go bust. But yeah, there's you start to see more individual providers of it, a few on the South Coast that we know. But yeah, in Preston where we are, there's maybe one other, arguably, but I don't think they do it quite as good as we do. So
right. So you're putting Lancashire on the map. Well done.
That's it. Yeah.
Good stuff. So what does the future look like? What challenges might you have ahead?
I think a lot of people tend to say the biggest challenge will probably be the financing, but I think we'll be able to manage that well. I think the biggest problem for us is going to be sourcing the properties we need at the right prices, because One thing I found whilst trying to find properties in Preston is the footprint of them isn't as big as it is in some other areas. And you're really having to sort of do a lot of extensions, but then there's not a lot of space for extensions because, you know, they're just typical terraced houses like you get across Lancashire. So I think finding the right properties is probably going to be one of the biggest challenges for us. Then obviously there is the challenge of finance, but I think we can manage that, you know, as we've sort of done all right so far, and I think we'll be okay. We've got consultant FD on board who we're helping to develop our 5-year plan, and he's helped us a lot with that side of things. So, yeah.
Okay. And if you were starting it all over again with the learnings that you've had, what might you do differently?
I think a bit more research into the refurbishment side. Obviously, there's only so much you can learn before just diving in and actually, you know, making mistakes and learning for yourself. But I think we've learned a lot on our first project, sort of mistakes that we could have sort of done something about beforehand, or time wasted that we could have done something about, which we maybe could have resolved by just doing a bit more research onto the refurb side. But as I said, there's only so much you can do before you've just got to get started.
Yeah. And what have you learned about yourself along the way? I
think the main thing for me has been probably that I'm quite prone to anxiety and how to deal with that and manage it myself, because I was quite fortunate coming through school and university that I tended to get quite good grades without having to put in as much work as other people have. So I was really fortunate there. But then I think dealing with the amount of money that can be involved in property, and when something goes wrong, the amount of stress that can bring, it was really eye-opening. So yeah, learning how to manage that has been quite a big thing for me.
And have you managed to do that?
Getting there, definitely. Yeah, more or less there now with it. Yeah.
Mindset, very, very important. That's for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, that's one thing I've learned. I've started reading a lot over the past year, and that's something that a lot of the books that I've read is, you say, it's key point to make sure the mindset's in the right place to achieve what you want.
Brilliant. Great advice. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you very much, Mick.